One of the biggest questions coming with the Black Temple raid is shadow resistance. Do you need it, and how much do you need? Can you fight Mother Shahraz with 0 shadow resistance, and is that only hoping that you get lucky and don't get teleported? And can you survive the Fatal Attraction without any shadow resistance? So with the PTR coming back up, this is the 3rd time I've been able to test out this boss, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what happened. Alright, so I'm going to have the actual encounter playing in the background while I kind of talk about this. Now, my raid went in there today with a lot of people that obviously have never done this raid before, and we tried a few different strategies to fight this boss. We did wipe a few times, getting really unlucky, and there's definitely ways where you can get extremely unlucky on this encounter. And that's mainly if there's a Fatal Attraction directly within the melee group or directly within the ranged group, and you need to kind of run away from that. Now, I've kind of cut back for a second because you can see on the bottom of my screen, I do have Bloodlust up, but I'm not using all of my cooldowns because I'm taking quite a bit of damage. And the reasoning for that is because I'm actually wearing literally 0 shadow resistance gear. And when I'm low on HP, I don't want to use any of my cooldowns. You don't want to use a potion. You don't want to use Blood Fury for sure when you're low on HP, because if you take any more damage before you get healed, you're gonna die. So I was holding off on using CDs right there. So you can see I could have done more damage during that little burst phase, potentially, but I could have also died. Now, really a huge highlight if you're gonna try to wear 0 shadow resistance is boom, there I finally get Fatal Attraction. The biggest thing you need to have, you absolutely need to have Goblin Rocket Boots if you're going to try this strategy. And the scary thing is, if you get Fatal Attraction a second time, which Tails actually in the raid, my Rep Pally actually gets it 3 times this raid, well, if you get it a second time, you need to be able to Shadow Resistance Potion as well as Health Stone, and you might even need a Jewel Crafting Necklace. So if you can get the JC Neck also, you might need to use all of those. And then if you get it a 3rd time, you're basically dead. You got super unlucky. But myself, I in this raid opted for the chance of using actually my haste potion. So you can see I used it right after the first Fatal Attraction went out a little bit earlier. If I just kind of zoom over there, boom, 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 boom. Here we are. All right. The first Fatal Attraction goes out right here, and then I use all of my cooldowns, including Haste Potion, right? Because I don't want to die here. So then you can see right here, my R button is Goblin Rocket Boots Extreme. These are BOE, but you have to be an engineer to use them. And when I do get Fatal Attraction, I just blast away so I don't die, right? I don't get healed there, so it's fine. You can be at max HP and not die. Now, there was another pull attempt where I do get teleported while I'm at very low HP, and this can absolutely happen. You can get TP'd while you're at low HP. We're only running 5 healers in this raid right here, so it is a little bit more sketchy. Our raid healing was really low, and it was 6 a.m. for most of the raiders in my guild, which are EU players, and it's 8:30 for me. So everyone is super tired. Our raid healing was very low, and we only had 5 healers. You absolutely are probably going to be running 6 healers, and I will show you what things actually look like on the logs after we watch the rest of the fight. So you can see how much raid damage I'm taking generally throughout the fight. It's not that bad, and so it's not like necessarily impossible to not, or it's not necessarily impossible to wear 0 shadow resistance. But we did see issues with the whole raid wearing 0 shadow resistance. And what that really means is if you want to consistently kill this boss, you 100% need the raid to run some shadow resistance. I would highly suggest the number of 174, because then with shadow protection buff from a priest, you are at 50% mitigation. That is absolutely perfect, and it will ensure that you actually kill this boss. Like, you will not die for the most part, unless there's other mistakes that happen. So what you should aim for is 174 shadow resistance, but we all know there's going to be people that are going to parse this fight and go for no shadow resistance. And that can actually happen as you get a little bit more gear. If we look at the Mother Shahraz fight, you can see I'm at 2.6k DPS, and the next highest are 2 warriors at 2k DPS. They ran about 100 shadow res, so I'm the only person in the raid not wearing any shadow res. And if we look at damage taken, I'm way up here. So I took a ton of damage, and it did require a lot of healing to go out on me. And if we look at what actually did the most damage to me, it was just genuinely a sinful beam, where if we look at that versus someone else like Psycho, he actually didn't even get hit by sinful beam. Maybe over here, warlocks are taking 16.1k damage from sinful beam, and I'm taking 22k. But it's not atrocious, but it is a lot of damage, especially if that adds up for your entire raid. Now, if we look at the other log where I fought this fight, where I used 0 shadow res again and did 2.2k DPS, but this was a little bit longer of a fight. Yeah, definitely a longer fight, almost 40 seconds longer, then the damage taken here is again around 260. This time I did not get teleported with Fatal Attraction, but you can see that Fatal Attraction only hit me for 9,000 damage, which is enough to kill you if you're not topped up. So can you run 0 shadow resistance on this fight? That was the question I sought to find out and try to limit test for you guys. The answer is definitely yes. When you run 0 shadow resistance on your entire raid, we wiped around 30%. And the issue there is your DPS is definitely higher, but we actually are taking quite a bit more damage as a raid. And one thing that was a big issue for us as a raid was if you get bad RNG where she does Fatal Attraction and teleports the 3 people right next to the melee group or the range group, everyone's gonna die. There's like basically no outplaying that. You can run away, but there's pretty much just all deaths. So I would massively suggest that you run some shadow res on almost everyone. Although I do think some of your top DPS can opt for 0 shadow resistance. Again, this is definitely sketchy and on a case-to-case basis, whatever your guild decides. So I just wanted to limit test this and show you guys if it's really possible. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. I really hope you all are gonna have a ton of fun in these raids because they're absolutely amazing. Good luck out there. And if you want me to limit test anything else, make sure to let me know in the comments. I will have a ton more guides coming out soon. I just wanted to pump this out to you as fast as possible. So check me out on the channel and like and subscribe if you want to see more. Cool. Bye.